Hey there, my beautiful souls. It's Veronica. I'm back at you. And today's message is very simple, but I believe it's powerful. And basically, my topic is Women Are Tired. That's actually my series for this week. So let's get right into it. If that feels true for you, stick with me because this space was created for you. And before we begin, let's go ahead and get all the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Go ahead if you appreciate the content or you find value or you think someone else could find value in it, please like the video. Subscribe to my channel if you're watching on YouTube and tap the notification bell so you don't miss the full series. So, getting right into it, part one, acknowledging the tiredness. Let's be honest, we're not just tired from a long day, we're tired from years of holding it together. Many of us have, gone through just everyday life of just say school and work. And heaven forbid if you've been married or in a relationship and you become a single parent, and especially if you throw in other layers like domestic violence or other traumas, these are, a recipe for being tired. So, you know, we're just, tired from a multiple layer of things. And many of us are just tired from being strong for everyone. Even when we're down in the dumps, we put that smile on and we try to be everything to everyone else. And we are riding around on E, actually past E. And we're so tired when we go to bed, you can't even fall asleep because you're way past tired. So, this adds to, again, the different layers of being tired. And we're also tired from surviving things no one ever apologized for. How many of us have been through parental trauma, relationship trauma, or even, coworkers or teachers that have said things to you that have stuck with you, or you've had, maybe someone in authority or such as a teacher tell you you're not going to be anything because of whatever they thought. That adds on, it adds onto the load that you're carrying around. And again, this results in us being tired. And if you're a Black woman like me, you've likely carried generations of struggle and silence because unfortunately in our culture, and I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a historian, I'm not anyone, I'm just a life coach that has been through some stuff, and I speak my truth and the truth that those have entrusted me. Of course, not without, I don't share names and things like that, but this is from my experience and my perception. And as I mentioned, if you're a Black woman, again, we've carried generations of struggle and silence because our culture for many years is built on secrets. We don't talk to those people, or we don't talk about that, so it's always an elephant in the room. And that becomes tiring. So again, if you're a mother, you've likely put yourself last over and over again. That sounds like me. I could be dead tired, and especially when my kids were younger and single parenting, I could be dead tired, but I'm going to pop up and, be at games or dropping people off at buses to go to games 4 a.m. and, have other kids in the home to take care of. So again, this adds on that heavy load that, overfills that backpack that you're carrying and resulting in you being tired. And many, may want to call you lazy. You're far from lazy because you got too much you're trying to juggle. And you're not even in the circus. Sometimes it feels like a freaking circus, but you get what I'm saying there. And if you're, a survivor, you've spent so much energy pretending you're okay, even when you're not, especially, if you're a survivor of domestic violence. You know, some people, oh, I don't know why she stays with that man or, you know, that woman. You know, I wouldn't put up with all that. And all I could say to that is until you've walked just not even a mile, a quarter mile in that person's shoes, you'll never understand, especially if you are a woman that, you know, could possibly have been married to a man that was the provider. You think, okay, I have 3, 4 kids, who's going to want me? And especially if you're being talked down to from a narcissist of a partner telling you you're not anything, you're not going to be anything, nobody's going to want you. So many times you feel like it's better for me to stay. And in the long run, you get subjected to the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, and, you know, the abuse can just build up in layers in your children too. So what I say to that is, you know, don't judge a person that's in that situation. If anything, encourage and see how you can be of help. But the last thing they need is for you to judge. And I don't know a person that says, hey, I want to be a volunteer for abuse. I haven't met that person. So again, these are my opinions. So I would avoid judging. If anything, encourage, pray, help, whatever you can do to help that person to possibly get away from that situation. Help them to build, you know, self-esteem and so on, because many times their self-esteem has been stumbled on, it's been trampled on, and it's just not there. So again, please be mindful of people that are in, you know, particularly abusive relationships. So getting back on track. So, you know, if you're a survivor, you spent so much energy pretending that you're okay, and you know you're not. And many times your kids know you're not, and people around you know that you're not. But some of us are pretty good at masking. So that, again, adds to your exhaustion. So basically, I just want to say something clearly. It's okay to be tired, and you don't have to stay there. So, you know, there's a thing called a softer life, and it takes time to get there. So you're probably like, okay, what do you mean by there's a softer life? I don't mean a life without problems, because I think that's a part of life, solving problems and getting to the next level. I mean a life with more peace, more grace, more ease, where you don't have to prove your worth through struggle, where rest is your right. You don't have to feel guilty for laying down. You don't have to feel guilty for taking a nap or thinking someone's going to call you lazy because you're taking a nap in the middle of the day. You know, you have to listen to your body and do what's good for you. And rest is not something you have to earn. You deserve that. A softer life is saying no without guilt. And many of us need to stop there and just sit there for a moment. We have a problem with saying no. That phone ring, that text comes through. Someone's having some urgent problem. We feel like we have to stop what we're doing and help them figure out their problem. The thing about that, most of those people that are always on your phone, on your line with a problem, you turn around, you have just a simple question. They don't have time. So you have to weed through the people that you will allow to penetrate your circle. It can't be a one-way street where you're always helping and you can't even get someone to listen. So again, a softer life is allowing yourself to heal without hiding. It's no longer letting trauma set the pace of your life. And softness is not weakness, it's power. It's sacred, it's necessary. So a little bit about my story. It won't go into story time here, but I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I didn't come to this truth overnight. You know, I've been through some stuff, as I mentioned early on. I've been through breast cancer 3 times, 2020, 2021, and 2022. I'm still taking, you know, a 5-year pill. I still have issues with, mood swings, fluctuations with, temperature and so on. But I'm grateful, to be here. And I know life is not without struggle, but I do choose my battles now because stress is a big ingredient of cancer. And I had to learn that the hard way. So, moving on. As I mentioned earlier, I've also been a single parent. And I've basically been a single parent for a long time because I was married to someone that, had multiple issues, including mental health issues. And a lot of times I would just shrug it off as, maybe I'm being critical or judgmental and so on until things got very bad. And, going to get counseling for myself, I was able to figure out some things that cause my issues, such as PTSD. And yes, it's a very real thing. You don't have to go serve in the military. You just serve in the household with someone that is bipolar, someone that is ADHD, someone that has defiance disorder, someone that has the early stages of Alzheimer's. You put that in your blender and try drinking it every day. Yeah, it can be tough, but I'm still here. I have healed from that. And, I can say it taught me a lot. And now I'm here to help others to get through and to learn how to rest and live that softer life. And I've had to also rebuild more than once. It wasn't like a one-time thing. I've had to rebuild more than once because I do have a forgiving heart. And when you, like, the saying goes, when you know better, you do better. Many times you begin to think things are just you. So I've had to, I guess I've had to take the test many times before I pass the final exam. So don't, be hard on yourself if that is your situation. So for years, I wore strength as an armor, like, oh, I would always hear, oh, you're so strong, you're so, soft spoken, you know how to navigate, anything. It was because I had to learn how to do certain things because I made the choice. I didn't always live near family and so on. So I had to build my village and I had to, as they say, get it from the dirt. I had to, figure stuff out. And that's always been my personality. Even when I was single, I didn't live close to family. I wanted to explore, what was out there. And I'm back to that at 53. That is my plan, to be a nomad and still do what I do in my life. But, I don't have to wait till I'm 65, 70, or till I'm totally tired and broke down to enjoy life. I can enjoy life now. I can enjoy life as, a minimalist. I always have trouble with that word, but, I don't have to have the big house. I don't have to have the big fancy car. I just need peace, quiet, and of course, a little space to garden, even if that's just a windowsill. But let's get back on track because I'm going off on a tangent. So behind that strength was someone that needed support. That was me, who needed softness, who needed a space to just be. That's why I created Softer Life Beyond Trauma, to offer what I once needed, a space where women don't have to explain their tiredness, a space for healing, clarity, and peace. And through my app, Get Your Act Together, I offer one-on-one coaching, resources, and community to help you rebuild that softer life step by step. It's not easy, but it's doable as long as you have the courage to rebuild your life. So this video is part of, as I mentioned, my new series called Women Being Tired. It's free, it's real, and it's just the beginning. You can watch the next episode right here on this channel if you're ready for deeper support. I invite you to visit my website at www.softerlifebeyondtrauma.com. Check out the different services and resources that I offer. And if you're up to it or ready, book a session or a consultation through the app getyouracttogether.com. So, whether you need clarity, rest, support, or just a reminder that you're not alone, I got you. As I mentioned, you deserve softness. You deserve to heal. You deserve to rest. And you don't have to carry it all anymore. So that will be it for this session. Please like the video, share it with someone who's tired, subscribe, and turn on the bell because we're healing out loud over here. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video. And if you're wanting some tools, a free toolkit on how to live a softer life, please go ahead and send me an email. And you would send the email to lifebeyondtrauma411@gmail.com. Actually, no, it's beyondtrauma411@gmail.com. So, yes, or, you can put it in the comments if you're open to sharing your email that way, or please see the description. All the links will be there. And again, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And remember, you deserve to live a softer life. It is your right.